when we're going,
Yes.
when the interaction between our parts is going super fast, or if the interaction with me and my partner is going really fast, before I can do anything, I have to slow down. And it goes back to if I take a beat now, I'm going to save myself so much grief later if I just slow down, check in, and then move forward.
Welcome back to The Intuitive Voice with Martha Arnett and
Angela Huebner.
All right, we are back together today. The summer has been bits of travel for each of us, and we are excited to be back together. And today we are talking about the topic of self-trust.
Yes. And I'm excited to get into it. Do you want to talk about why we're going to talk about this today?
Yes, we are. I had, because we finished our 12 sessions, had a lovely, lovely, incredibly insightful and psychic and amazing client that would come to my home. And we were, I was guiding her back to basically clear up her intuitive channel, her psychic channel. And it was a really beautiful process that we shared together. And at the end, she said, it would be really, she's been following our pod, and she said, it would be great if you and Angela would talk a little bit more about trust, about self-trust. Like, how does one, learn, practice trusting themselves more? Because we have said in earlier episodes, and multiple times, and we're going to continue to say it multiple times, because I think it's so important for the pod listeners and for us to remember that the opposite of anxiety is not necessarily calm or peace. It is trust. And I think that is such a profound understanding.
Absolutely.
And so, we thought it would be important for us to sort of revisit this and maybe explore new ways that each of us will do that. But let's start with a quick check-in, Ange. I just kind of want to know how you are, and I'll share a little bit about where I've been and what's been going on.
Yeah. So I, a couple of weeks ago, was recording my book. So I've turned my print book into an Audible, or I'm in process. So that was an interesting thing to notice how it kicked up a lot of my self-trust stuff.
Yes.
Like, is this good? Is it not good? Am I doing it right? Is it not good? Why am I doing this? All of those questions. And I could feel myself sort of spinny in it. So I'm really glad we're going to talk about self-trust. Because I know for me, and I think for you, and I just really want to normalize this for our listeners, none of the stuff that we're talking about is kind of an on or off switch, right? We always have to come back to it. We forget, we get off balance, we come back, we're off balance, we come back. And that's just the practice. So I'm really glad we're going to tackle this topic.
Yeah, I love that. That's the practice of being human.
Right. Amen. And that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Forever and ever. We will be on and off and on and off and in and out and on the path and off the path. And
it's hard to remember, though, when you're in it, because it's like, I know, in my brain, I know all of this stuff. So why don't I feel better?
Right.
Or why don't I feel good all the time?
Oh, my God. That's such a great question that I know you hear and I hear all of the time. It's kind of like, even though this is a bigger, more therapeutic question, it's kind of like, well, I know this thing about ABCD. Why do I still feel like I'm in 7th grade?
Right. That's right.
Right. Yeah. And so a lot of us are what we're going to be talking about is it's a little bit of activated of parts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
It's about parts getting activated. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And recognizing that all of them can be true at the same time.
That's right.
Right? And we'll talk more about that. We'll talk more about that.
But that's a game changer.
It is. It is.
I know.
A game changer. Right.
It's
but I'm getting ahead of myself.
Okay.
Tell me about you. You have been
feels
on
like
the
a
road.
Good place. Okay. I have. Yes. I traveled with the fam to Italy and everywhere from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Well, maybe not if you go west, but everywhere you go east is so far away. It was amazing, but holy moly, it was 2 full days to get there, 2 full days to get back. And that was the lengthy part of it, but the actual being there in the Dolomites, we went to the Dolomites and hiked every single day. And I have to talk about self-trust in terms of my body, because I have had quite good amount of intense pain for about 18, 19 years, and have tried bazillions of interventions, and I live with it. And so, heading into this experience, I was a little, I don't want to, maybe worried, I guess is the word.
Just nervous.
I was nervous, hoping that my body would be able to sustain 10 miles a day going up mountains and things. Even though I hike a ton here, and, it's not, if I feel sore or whatever, I don't go the next day. But there you got up and you went every single day. And I was so proud of my body and that I trusted myself enough to really do it anyway. And I have to say, the pain felt a little less, and it was just this really beautifully challenging experience. And so I feel like even one of my mantras, I was going quite straight up a mountain. There's a gondola, I say that wrong, gondola that takes you straight up the mountain instead. But my husband looked at it, he said, let's take that, let's hike that instead. And I was like, oh my God. So we did, we hiked straight up, like, It was like 1,500, 1,300 elevation in like a mile and a half straight up. But I remember halfway up, I was like, okay, I need a mantra. And I just started saying, I am strong. My body is strong. My body is strong. My body is strong. My body is strong. And I made it. And there was a fairy house someone had made halfway up.
Oh, neat.
I know. And I was like,
That's
okay, that was
best.
put there to help me, right? Things like that. We're such a blessing. So it was beautiful experience, challenging, very grateful that I trusted myself, my body, enough to take on that big experience. And it was lovely. Thank you for asking. It was great.
Yeah. So self-trust.
Yeah. Woo. Self-trust. Where to begin with that?
Yeah. Well, I can talk a little bit about, I will share with the listeners. I have been in a funk. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to candy coat it. And I think it's I'm especially hard on myself when I'm in a funk, because even though I've said all the things I just said at the beginning of the podcast, there's still a part of me that thinks I should be able to outrun it or get out of it.
Yep.
And so just really noticing the ebb and flow of the moods. And the really interesting thing, Martha, is in the last month, I have had so many clients that have talked about feeling really heavy, feeling tired, exhausted. And with one client, we started talking about it as soul exhaustion, right? Like my soul is exhausted. So I want to make space for that, because I think there's something bigger happening now, obviously. I mean, there's a lot of heaviness. And so even for me, recognizing, you're not alone in this. And I think my soul is a little exhausted too. But then how do I come back to the self-trust? And I don't know about you, but when I then check in with myself and I'm in that funky place, I'll start to gaslight myself.
Yes.
And by that I mean, like, I'll sit with my parts and I'll say, oh, that hurt because that hurt. Like, that person said that thing and it hurt your feelings, or you're feeling alone because this person left you alone. And I'll start to have some compassion for that. And then this is the gaslighting part. We'll come in and say, you're making that up. It's really not that big of a deal. You should not feel that way. And I've gotten better at noticing when I start to notice what's happening, there can be this gaslighting part that comes in and tries to talk me out of knowing what's true for me in that moment. Does that make any sense?
Absolutely. You know what I've noticed about you, Ange, is that you, because we're friends off camera here, and so when we talk, you're really, really good at speaking for your parts. And I think maybe that helps, that when that little gaslighting part comes in, you can hear it out loud. And I think that's a really good tool. You say it
Yeah.
out loud and then you're like, huh, even as I say that, right? We were saying that yesterday. Like, wow, even as I say that, like I can see what I'm doing here.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
I'm so glad you said that. And so
Yeah.
for the listeners that don't know what we're talking about,
Yeah.
we can talk about speaking from a part. Like if I'm really angry or in a funk, I could speak from that and maybe be really irritable. Like Martha, that kind of.
Yeah. Yes.
Or I can notice and speak for it. So like yesterday, I was saying to Martha, there's a part of me that feels X.
That's right.
And there is something, you're right, very powerful about when you notice the part, which could be a sensation, an emotion, right? Something that's happening for you, and you speak for it. There is a little unblending, a little separation that happens, and it just leaves a little more space in your whole nervous system to consider what else is also happening. And it's so simple, it shouldn't work, and yet it does.
And it really does. And you're an expert at it. This is where your expertise comes in. I mean, maybe you feel like you're gaslighting and all these other parts are kicked in and they shouldn't or whatever. But your expertise is then noticing that very quickly. At least that's my observation of you.
I do notice there's a lot going on, and I do notice all of it. That's true. That's true.
Well, that's half of the work, right? Is being able to be conscious about it and see it, and then separate it out, or like at least speak for it, which is brilliant. Yeah,
that's right. Well, and the other thing now you know that we're talking about me and dissecting me.
Yes, please.
The other thing that I know about my system and is when I speak for my parts to somebody that I trust. So when I'm speaking to Martha, listeners, about what's going on for me, there's something about having a witness that can hold it. And then I think the bigger part is me hearing myself say it out loud, because there's something about the resonance of our own voice, so that when I say it out loud, to somebody that's listening, I'm not looking for Martha to fix it for me.
Yep.
But she mirrors back kind of the energy that's happening. And that's an amazing thing. So
it is.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing. It's such a gift. You do the same thing. Like when I'm upset about something, I'll call you and you just get right in there with me. And I am so grateful for that, because often what we don't need is someone to tell us what to do or what's right or wrong. We need someone just to be with it in us and then just, reflect back of the energy, like you just said. I love that.
Yeah. So how does it work for you in terms of self-trust and losing it, getting it back?
Yes. What I wanted to say before I forget, and then I'll come back to that, is what was really helpful for me in terms of your funk and I am the master of feeling funky also. I go in and out of them like, water pretty much. And so when I heard, my stepsister is an Ayurvedic practitioner and she is in my soul coaching club, and we were chatting and she said, you know that seasons have seasons. And rather than, because I think there's this expectation in the summer, right? We're going to feel light and fun and playful, and everything should be easy and joyful. And even though we're all tuned into the big world pain right now, there is still this feeling like it's summer and we need to have a different kind of energy. So when she said, there's seasons in the seasons in that tradition, I was like, absolutely. I mean, can't you feel it's mercurial? It like shifts within days and the day. Like I go from up to down, around and around. And I think especially when we're sensitive, empathic human beings, it's nearly impossible not to take on the weight of things. And it's almost impossible to not experience the highs and the lows, even within the season. And so to answer your question about self-trust, what I kind of link it back to everything comes back to this for me, Ange, inspiration, I link it back to like, how do I keep myself in this clear, I was going to say lighter space, but I don't know if it's lighter. It's a clearer space for me. And one of the ways I do it, so this does sort of connect to self-trust, even though it sounds like I'm sort of taking a backdoor to your answer, is I I up my game in my connection to my spirit guide communication. So what that looks like for me, it's playful for me, which is inspirational. And when I set the intention that the universe is gonna talk with me, and I expect to be spoken to, and often for me it comes through animal spirit guides. And in the shamanic tradition, it would be power animals. And so this morning, it was super fun. I was pottering around my kitchen, and I said out loud, I feel like a new guide is coming in for me. And I was just chatting to myself. I feel like a new guide is coming in. I'm curious who that is. Because I am, as you know, starting to outline a book. Now, all these really fun magical, intuitive experiences that I've had and people I know have had. So if you have one, please write into our email. I would love to put it in my book. But and the minute I finished saying, I wonder who's coming in to support me. Ange, I'm not kidding you. You know my kitchen. You've seen my kitchen. It has floor-to-ceiling windows. And a hummingbird literally zooms up to the window like an ant, like it's closing, almost pecking, and just buzzed like for, I'm not kidding you, 30 seconds.
Wow.
Why would it be looking in my window? It never, they're all out there a lot. And I'm not going to say they're not there. They're all out there. But it buzzed up to my window and fluttered like those 1,000 beats per minute or whatever it is per second. And just stared in the kitchen for 30 seconds right after I finished the question. And I was like, thank you. So I remembered and recalled that the meaning of there's many meanings, but the meaning of the,
hummingbird?
We're going to.
The hummingbird?
Woo! Talk about a funk. Hummingbird. I was like, the little tiny bird with the long beak. Yes. The hummingbird is good luck, prosperity, blessings, all this beautiful stuff. And I was like, thank you so much.
So that's good. A good omen for the book.
It's a good omen for the book. And that's how I began to get back into inspiration. It gets back into connectedness. And ultimately, then once those channels are clear and flowing for me, then my self-trust is just part of it. It's just easier.
Yeah.
When my channels are mucky and everything feels a little funky and off, self-trust is definitely harder for me to feel.
Right.
How about you?
Well, I want to go back to what you said about the seasons, because I think that's really important. Because I know that we even have circadian rhythms, which I think correlates to like Ayurvedic doshas, like kind of the and it's as simple as noticing when you have more energy, when you have less energy. And as you said, going with that rather than trying to fight against it. Like if I know there's seasons, so we're in summer, but if I also know within summer, I'm going to have times when I have more energy, less energy, and ride those waves rather than expecting it's all going to be one way. And isn't that the theme, right? I'm preaching to myself right now. Because,
absolutely. Yes.
Because again, logically, I know all of that, but in the moment, it can be really hard to have compassion for or curiosity around why am I in this funk? And is it okay to sit in this funk and just be with it to see what it's about or this heaviness?
That's right.
Yeah. So I like the reminder.
Yeah. Because a lot of the times we want to shift out of the heaviness because it doesn't feel good.
Right. That's right.
And then I think there's also might be parts of us, maybe it's just my parts, I don't know, but that are like, oh my gosh, will it be this way forever? Like, will it always feel bad?
Of course. Yeah.
It's almost hard to remember what it felt like to feel lighter.
That's right. That's right.
And there's, go.
Well, yeah, like the idea if I stay in it, then I'm never going to get out. So rather than being able to calm down and hear what that part wants me to know.
Yep.
Like you're moving too fast, or you do need to take a break, or maybe you need to rebalance what you're eating, or, just that there's a message there. It does. Other parts of us get scared and say, we got to get out of this.
That's right. And then that message is our whole podcast is our intuition, right?
That's right. And trusting.
Trusting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because trust is the foundation of intuition.
That's right. And yeah.
And taking action, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have to not only I used to talk about the steps is be like you have to acknowledge you have it,
Mm.
then you have to learn how you receive it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you have to, when it comes in, you have to trust it. Because
Right.
then you have to take action. Because then you're
Right.
building this beautiful feedback loop. Otherwise, if you don't trust it and you don't take action, you're never going to build that self-trust. You're not going to build that and clear out that intuitive channel so that you can move your intuition to a place where it just becomes a very integral, a strong, clear, confident part of yourself, right? The aspect of
that's
you,
right.
really.
That's
Yeah.
right. One of the tools I'm thinking about things that I do that helps is trying to the way I think about it is kind of opening, I think about it as opening the container. In other words, going from a very specific point of focus, like this part of me that's really irritable or funky, and then shifting my focus to bigger. It's almost like focusing on the sky versus the bird in the sky or the cloud in the sky,
Yes.
but like being able to actually literally shift my focus to that more open place. And it's when you're able to do that, you're going from focusing on a particle to focusing on the wave. If that from a because clients will say, well, what do you mean by that? And it's like you want to get out of the particle,
Minutia.
the minutia, the tiny, that, and go broader in what you're paying attention to. And ironically, when I'm able to get to there, it's like I am holding all of these parts, but I am not these parts. And there's just more space. And then it's like it matters, but there's nothing serious going on here, you know? And again, I don't mean that in a
love that.
flippant way, but it's like this too.
I love that. I've always
Yeah.
called it when I work with clients, zooming out, like going
Yeah,
from,
exactly.
like let's just zoom out
out.
for a minute. I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah. And
Oh.
holding. Yeah.
I was going to tell you this when I was doing the book, I'd forgotten about, or just reminded me when I was recording the book, there's a section there where I talk about what I tell my clients all the time, which is what I need to do too. And it's an acronym, and it's STFD. And it stands for slow the fuck down.
Oh, I love it.
Right? And
Yes.
it's like that's got to be the first thing when we talk about what are the keys to trust. It's first I've got to slow my roll.
good.
I've got to STFD. And I joke
love
around
it.
and say I'm making refrigerator magnets so people remember. But like, when we're going, when the interaction between our parts is going super fast, or if the interaction with me and my partner is going really fast, before I can do anything, I have to slow down. And it goes back to if I take a beat now, I'm going to save myself so much grief later if I just slow down, check in, and then move forward.
Hey, Andrew,
So-
what does checking in look like for you? So slowing down,
Oh,
slow the
great
fuck
question.
down. I love that. Okay, now
Yeah.
you're going to check in.
Yeah.
What does
so
that look
what,
like for you?
what I do is a couple of things. I'll notice what recurring thought is going through my head. Because I don't know about you, but like when I'm in a funk, there's like a on loop. It doesn't matter. What's the point? Like it's just like the same mantra, a negative mantra. The other thing I'll do is check in with the sensations in my body.
Yes.
Like, am I feeling hunched over, like I'm being small? Am I clenching my jaw? Am I clenching my fists? So it's just slowing down and sort of taking an inventory of the physical sensations and the words that are on a loop,
That's great.
Yeah.
That's
How about
great.
you? How about you?
Yeah.
'Cause I check in.
Yeah. So when I check in, if I'm really activated, Ange, I go for a walk.
Yes.
I do meditate in a quiet sitting space, but if I'm activated, I have to walk. And now we know that it's accessing both sides of the midline, right? Both sides of the brain, right? And that helps the nervous system to calm. So I find I walk.
Yeah.
And I am a big somatic person, so I probably why I carry a lot of chronic pain is I really carry a lot in my body. So I will. I also do this I hope this is helpful for some listeners. Is if I wake up in the middle of the night and there's anxiety or whatever, is I will begin to do my own parts work. But what that looks like is I will go just directly to that part of my body where and it's usually in my solar plexus or somewhere in my gut that feels yucky or icky, or in my throat. I can feel it right now when I call it forward. And then I'll just turn my attention there. and I'll begin to picture what it would look like
Mm-hmm.
because I'm so imaginative, and I would be
Yeah.
like, and that is part of the IFS process, right? Is picture a color, picture a shape. Honestly, as you know, Ange, when we can just simply begin to identify it as a physical creature, sort of, a
Yeah.
shape, color, whatever, it immediately, that acknowledgement, it quiets it a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's so amazing how presence, but for me, it's like direct access, like going straight to whatever it is it feels in my body. If I'm holding an icky feeling in my stomach or something in my throat or some agitation, maybe it's my whole body, I'll just sort of like begin to imagine colors and what it would feel like. And just that little bit of attention shifts things for me. So that's kind of how I do it.
Well, and as you were saying that, what I was thinking about is that focused attention being seen, right? It's just critical for our
Absolutely.
survival, whether it's interpersonally, like me being able to talk to you and feeling like you get it, or that part of us feeling like I'm
right.
paying attention to it. Like there
Million
is,
percent.
yeah, there's some magic. And I think it's true. That's what we want. Like we're wired to be seen, known, understood.
Understood.
All of those things. Yeah.
All of those things. That's my
Yeah.
little sticky above
Yep.
my desk. I say it
Yeah.
all the time. And yeah, absolutely. There is a magical element to that, to turning toward the pain or the discomfort
It's
or
it's
the.
healing. It's
It
healing.
is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
A researcher at UVA talks about stress load sharing. He's got this, I'm not going to go into all the details, but he talks about this thing called social baseline theory. And his name is Jim Cohen. But the theory is great. It talks about how part of why we need to be in community is because me just telling you about what's happening for me, we're load sharing the stress. And so there's something about just that makes it tolerable. That makes it tolerable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the tool. Wouldn't you say the tool for the week?
Yeah. Say more.
Yeah, would just be when you notice, or let's say you're feeling a funk or you're feeling anxious or agitated or whatever it is, to do Ange's acronym.
I was going to say first
L,
we have to
F, D, whatever it is. STFD. Okay.
Slow the fuck down.
And that's perfect. First, you're going to do that.
First, you're going to recall the acronym. Yes.
That's correct. And then you're just going to go, hopefully you're in a space where if you're walking, you can kind of notice your body. If you're alone, you can kind of close your eyes, just go inside and just kind of notice where you hold that, the energy of that part. And then just bring your awareness there and just see if it had a color, what color would it be? This is all based on the IFS model, but it is something that I just do now naturally all the time. What color is it? Does it have a shape? Is it bumpy? What's the surface like? Blah, blah, blah. And I think when you all begin to practice doing that, you're going to find it is really shifting.
That's right. Because that part will also tell you something. Right?
Yes.
It's doing what it's doing for a reason.
That's right.
For good reason. So when you can just linger there and be curious about it, just notice what bubbles up about it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yay.
Fabulous. And remember the seasons, right? We're not meant to be static. We are going to flow in and out of seasons by the actual calendar season and by the day.
That's right. And another tool is what you're so good at, Ange, is speaking for the part, if possible.
Yeah.
Right? It's really hard when you're in it, but like you're feeling crappy and whatever, you can just say, gosh, there's a part of me I'm really noticing there's a part of me that's feeling horrible or whatever it is, right? And being able to just, even if you say it out loud to your dog, just to begin to like put voice to it there's a lot of power in that also.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
All right.
That's kind of the question of the week too, was from this beautiful client that I was working with so kind of the whole pod was about her question, how do you build self-trust? So hopefully this answered a little bit of that. And just want to remind folks, if you do have questions, please write in to our email, Ange.
theintuitivevoice25@gmail.com.
Yay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, thanks so much. And we will look forward to seeing you next week on The Intuitive Voice.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, friends, you thought we were gone, but we're back. I'm glad you stayed.
If you like what you heard, click those 5 stars. And if you really like what you heard, please write us a review.
And share with your friends.